Hi everybody! Today is another After Hours where I'm talking about the 10 things that I wish I'd known when I was growing up. So last Monday I talked about the first 5 out of those 10. Just to make it shorter, today I'm going to talk about the last 5. I'm not going to mention what I talked about already on Monday because I want this to stay short and sweet as much as possible. So if you missed my video from last Monday and you want to know what those first 5 things were, I really encourage you to go back to the video and play it again. You can find it on my grid and you can find it in my IGTV as well. So yes, today it's point 6 to 10. And let's start with the first one, or the number 6, which is essentially stop making excuses. When I was growing up, let's say that I had a lot of examples of people giving lots and lots of excuses, and so I'm not blaming them. That's what they had learned, and so that's what I learned as well. So growing up, I used to make lots of excuses, bullshitting myself about what was happening in my life, what was not happening in my life, and blaming most of the time external circumstances when something was or was not happening the way that I wanted. And then one day I read, so many years later, I read an NLP book where essentially I learned that by making excuses, we essentially give up responsibility and as a result power over our lives. And that resonated with me in the sense that I had been feeling helpless, powerless for such a long time, and I felt that I wasn't in charge. But that's because every time that something was happening or was not happening, I was just not taking responsibility. So this prompted me to, and I talked about victim mindset last week. This is something that a lot of people have. I do have. That still happens nowadays. The only difference from between now and before is that now that I'm aware this happens, I'm usually a lot better at catching myself, and so I am able to disentangle myself more quickly. So essentially, if you're making lots of excuses, if you're feeling helpless, like stop making excuses. You owe it to yourself to be honest about what happens. It's not. Sometimes we're not proud of what we do or what we don't do, what we say, what we don't say. But it's better to face the truth and to take responsibility and therefore to have power over our life rather than just giving it away. Number 7 of what I wish I'd known as I was growing up is that failure is learning. So again, I'm not blaming anybody, but I came to grow up thinking that failure was a shameless thing, something to be avoided at all cost, and so for a long time I was trying to do everything I could to avoid failure. And then some years later, again, I read that there was a way to reframe it, to reframe failure, and that failure, although it can be embarrassing, it can be uncomfortable, it can make us feel ashamed, make me feel ashamed, failure can be seen as learning. And when I realized failure could be reframed as learning, all of a sudden, I'm still scared of failing, but it helps to know that you can learn lessons if things don't go the way you wish they would. Hi there, if you just joined us, today I am talking about 10 things that I wish I'd known as I was growing up. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I covered the first 5 points last week, So if you haven't seen those, you can go back and watch those. They are available in my grid, and available in my IGTV as well. And today I'm covering the last 5 points of those 10 things I wish I'd known as I was growing up. So number 6 was stop making excuses. Number 7 was failure is learning. Number 8 is that you are completely unique. There has never been anybody like you before, and there will never be. And this seems pretty obvious, I have to say, when you hear it like that. But growing up is never easy, and we try to, especially as teenagers, we try to blend in order to belong, in order to be loved, and in order to be part of a group. And that makes sense. But at the same time, by trying to blend in, we usually try to hide what makes us very special, what makes us very unique. And sometimes some of those things we sort of like forget a little bit along the way. They're not lost. We can find them again. But I think we are not told enough when we are growing, by the adults around us. We are not told enough that we are perfect the way we are, in the sense that our quirks, what makes us different, is also what makes us beautiful and what makes us interesting. So yeah, accepting and embracing my quirks in a world that encourages you and us to blend in was a big one for me. And when I read this, I literally cried, because I thought that was such a beautiful thing to say, and it was such a beautiful thing to hear, that you are unique and there has never been anybody like you before, there will never be anybody like you again. And that's how I felt that I owed it to myself and to the world to just be who I am, as much as possible. Some days it's difficult, sometimes it's difficult, because I still sometimes want to blend in, I still want to be accepted, and to belong, and all those things, which are very human feelings. But yeah, this is something that I wish I'd known as I was growing up. Point number 5 is that we are a work in progress. So when I was a kid, I used to think that when you were done with school, you were basically complete, your education was over, and then you were moving on, and basically you switched to becoming like adult mode. You knew everything there was to know about everything. I used to think my parents and the adults around me knew everything. Now I realize that they were making it up a lot, and bless them, there wasn't Google at the time, so they did great. But yeah, we're all a work in progress, and that means that since we still keep evolving, growing throughout our lives, it's important that we keep learning as well. So our education is not actually over when school is over, and that's something that I wish I'd known. Because I had that false idea, that fake idea that, once you were done with school, you were done with all of that. As simple as that, what kids believe. And finally, number 10 is that, it's a very personal one, that one. It's okay if your bath towels don't match. So I'm going to explain that. Essentially, when I moved in with my boyfriend a few years ago, we were looking for some bath towels and towels for our bathroom, and I really wanted to, again, blend in, like that thing, like I really wanted to blend in. So I was thinking, part of me really wanted very neutral, matching colors. But I love color. I love lots of different colors. And I was in front of this like very wide aisle with all those towels, and I was freaking out, like overwhelmed, because I just couldn't choose, because I wanted my towels to match. And then that's when my boyfriend turned to me and said, well, but our towels don't have to match. Like, seems super simple once again, but that was so freeing. All of a sudden I felt relieved, because it meant that I could have all the colors that I liked, or maybe not all the colors, but a lot of the colors that I liked. And it was okay if they didn't match, and you know, maybe people who come to visit us would judge, but whatever, it brings me joy. So and that's the point. That's the point behind this. It's okay if your bath towels don't match. I think my point is, let go of perfection, let go of judgment, and you know, as long as it brings you joy, as long as it makes you happy, then it's probably good. So go with that. So yeah, that's the last 5 of the 10 points that I of the 10 things that I wish I'd known when I was growing up. So just to do a quick recap of this of this part 2, because part 1 was last Monday, as I said at the beginning of the video. I'm not going to cover those points again. If you want to watch last week's video, it's available on my grid, and it's available in my on my IGTV as well. So today we covered stop making excuses. That was number 6. Number 7 was failure is learning. Number 8 was you are completely unique. There has never been anybody like you, and there will never be ever again. Number 9 was we are a work in progress, so keep learning. And number 10 was your bath towels don't have to match. Let go of perfection. Let go of judgment. Go for what makes you happy. Go for what brings you joy. Thank you very much for watching. I'm so thrilled that I had so many of you watching tonight. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot. It gives me the strength and the motivation to keep doing those every Monday. So next one will be next Monday, 5 p.m. British time. And yeah, if you've liked this video, first I wonder if any of those points resonated with you. I'd love to know that in the comments, so feel free to comment. Or if there's any big lesson, something that you really wish you'd known as you were growing up, any big lesson you've learned and you would like to share, please do share in the comments as well. Harry Pegai. Yeah, if you've liked this video, please like, comment, share with your friends. If you know anybody who needs to hear this, please do send them the video, and follow me if you don't already follow me for more of those. Thank you very much again. Have a lovely evening or lovely day, depending on wherever you are in the world. Lots of love to you all, and I will see you next Monday. Bye bye.